And yes, it is actually the relevant code that we need to write. But here you can see it shows an error, squiggly red line. If you go over on it, and then top level statement must precede namespace and type declarations. That the class definition have to be the last. And because of that, I am going to move this line of code before class definition. It is important. It is required actually in C#. But also we are going to move this class also in separate file, and we are going to connect to separate file, separate class file, and we can use it. I am going to explain also about it. Now my car1 is created. Now I can set data for car1, that the brand data, and also model. I can set the model data. It is very easy that I can set it like this. Car1, and each object has brand property and the model property, dot brand. Yes, and I am going to set the data. It is like this, how we did it before, actually. But here, the important, which object, that it is related to car1 object. And now let's write here, for example, Volvo and semicolon. It is that the setting data to car1.brand. Now let's set to another data. It is model actually, and then I can set it like this, Volvo V90, for example. And yes, it is also, this means actually setting, that we set the data, we assign a value into this, the property of the object. Okay. Yes, and we can get it. We can show it on the screen. It is also like this, that how we can access it, how we can get it. It will have the get, actually means the getter. And let's car1 point brand. Yes, and then plus car1 point model. It is the way that the accessing the value. It means that the getting the data. Yes, now let's run the code. Let's run the code. Now it will show the Volvo and V90. Yes, it is here. You can see, yes, and Volvo V90. It is the data that we set first, and then we get the data. This means that the setter set data, and here that we get data. It is that we use like this, that we get and set. It means that the getter and setter. Of course, that if you are going to, for example, we are going to use auto-implemented method. But if you are going to use, for example, like this, that the get method and set method, then we need to use that the get method. We need to call get method, and then we need to set the data, and we need to first, of course, we need to set data with this. That the data will set this one as a parameter, and it will be set to name. And then also that we need to call the get method. But here, yes, we can use directly like this. It is less code, and it will also important when we are going to apply, when we are going to use entity framework. Let's create first another object, and I am going to here you can see it will show the class name. Class name, not the property values. Okay, and because of that, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to comment it out. And now let's create another object if you need. Yes, as much as you can create it. Yes, this template is okay for me. Card2, it will be another object. And yeah, it is also, later we are going to get data from user, and then we are going to assign it to property, and then we are going to get the value. It will be, of course, later. Yes, and also that we can assign to another property values to properties. Card2 also has brand, and I am going to here, let's give this Toyota, and then the Card2 also has model. It is for second object, and I am going to assign to, for example, Toyota Auris. And yes, it is also same way that we can copy this line and then we can paste it here. And also we can access here that need to be changed the object name. My second object is car2, and it has also brand and model property. And now it will show Toyota Auris. Let's run the code. And yes, it is here that the first object is car1 is Volvo V90, and the second object has Toyota Auris. It is my objects, and they has the brand and model property. Let's create the method. Now this line of code we can write into method in class method, and then we can call this method, and then we can use it. Now let's create it like this. Methods is public, and it will return string, and the name of the method we can name it print, or yeah, any other name that we can give, and then it will return brand information and plus model. Yes, this will return this data to be returned. Yes, and now let's call with car1 object. Also that we need to show, of course, that in console.writeLine, and then call the method car1, that the object can access the method because it's created from car class. And now I am going to call this print method. It will be like this. It is method. And yes, also here that we can call this method together with, let me copy this line, and then let's paste it here. And here that I need to change the object name, car2.print. And here, for when I call this method with car1 object, and the values that the brand and the model values will be for car1 object. And when I call this method, exactly same method with car2 object, and then it will get this brand and model information here, that the brand and the model information. Now let's run. Now twice that it will show this data twice, because one of them will be with this code, and another one will be that will access with this code. Let's see, let's run. And here you can see that Volvo V90, the first one is with this line 11, and the second one is with line 13. And here also again, that for Toyota Auris, the first data comes from that it shows with this data 18, line of 18, and another one is line 19. And yes, we can. It is also a very good way to create own methods. And let me comment it out. And now you can see if we run it, and then yes, we are going to show this data on the screen. It is class method. Hope that is clear. Now let's discuss about constructor. Yes, again, let me show here constructor, that the constructor is a special method that used to initialize objects. Okay, it will be blueprint also. It will be template for us. And now we don't have constructor, just we use a default constructor automatically. And yes, constructors has the same name of the class and does not have any return type. Now let's create it. Now this is actually constructor. It is default constructor automatically that it's used when we create the object. Now let's create constructor. For it, of course, you can type them manually, but also you can create it automatically using some menu. And let's right click on the class name, and then choose quick actions and refactorings from the menu, this first one, and then choose here generate constructor and click on it. Now it has two properties. You can choose just one, just model, just brand, or just model. It is possible that if you need, but now I am going to create brand and model in the constructor. It will take this data as a parameter. Okay, now let's click OK. And now you can see it is my constructor. It is same name with class, public. It is method, but it is special method, and it is constructor. Let's write here constructor. It is constructed. Yes. Now you can see I have an error because now I have different constructor. And if you want to use also this default constructor, then you need to create also it. Let's right click on the class name and also go to select the quick actions and refactorings and click on it. And now here you can see generate constructor. Here, this will be default constructor. Let's click on it. Now the problem is solved. You can see here, there is no problem. And this is my another constructor. You can create more constructor. It is possible that if you want to give some different possibilities or flexibilities to create objects, it is possible that you can create more constructor. It will be default constructor. Yes, now you can see there is no any error. And now let's create another object using the second constructor. Let's car and car3. It will be my another object is equal, again new. Let's write car and write parentheses. Now you can see it shows one of two. It means I have two constructors, two templates. One of them will be this, that the default I can use like this. And another one is if you click this arrow button, that will show the second one. And you can see I have this template, that the string brand and string model. The first data will be here, for example, sub, and the model will be, for example, 9000T, and it will be another template for creating objects. Now, I don't need to write like this. Here, I can create my object with data, that with set data. It is possible. And now I can use also car3.print method. Yes, and I can show it with these 2 lines instead of these 4 lines. Let's run the code. Yes, now you can see it is also works that the sub 9000T is my the third object that I created. I hope it's clear. It is constructor. Yes, if you need that, you can create another constructor. It depends on you, or it depends on the project generate constructor, and with just brand data, let's create it. Now you can see it is also another constructor that you can create it. It is possible. You can create, of course, it depends on the project. It's also flexibility of the program that user can create like this. And yes, it is will contain just the brand information, and the model information will be empty. And here in constructor, we take it. It is parameter, that the brand and model data is parameter. You can see it starts with lowercase letter. Of course, it is not required, but it is good practice. And here brand, this brand assigns to brand to this. And then the model data, the data of the model, it assigns to model. And then, yes, we hear that the sub, it is like this, that the car3.brand, it is sub, and then car3.model, it is this one, that assigns that using the help of the constructor. It is template, actually, that we create object, or blueprint, that we can say. Here, with this constructor, it is possible. Here, let's create car4. Yes, car4 is equal new object, and car. It is possible if you start the parentheses. Now you can see that I have 3 templates. First one is this default, and the second one is this just brand, and the third one is brand and the model data. Now I am going to use this template. Let's write. It will be no problem. Let's write here Opel. That is without model. And yes, I can also use print method together with car4 object, but the model information will not show because it is empty. Because now let's run. Let's run now. Yes, now I have just the brand data here. You can see no model data here because it's empty. That is possible that you can use. Yes, it is also possible. And now let me show you, it is the last thing that I am going to finish for today. Let's see, let's create the separate file, how we can create it. And then, yes, it is also a good way, actually, if you are working when you have more code. Of course, it is not good all the codes in the same file. If you have, for example, yeah, it depends on the project, but 50, 60, 70 lines of code, it's one file is okay. But if you have more than 100 lines, and then it's good to move to your classes into separate file, okay? Especially when you work with classes. Now let's see. For creating separate class, I am going to create it now in my project. It is here that the Solution Explorer, if you don't see it, that open view menu and then Solution Explorer, it's here, if it is hidden. And then right click on the project name here, classes and objects is my project name. Right click on it. And now here add. And then here that choose class. Again, right click on the project name. And here choose add from the menu. And then choose class here on the submenu. And then click on class. Now in this window, it is class actually. You can see it is class that we are going to create a new file, but it will be class. And the extension of the class is CS. It is C# again. And I am going to name it again. My class name is car. It is not required in C# like Java, but it is good practice actually. File name and the class name is same. And now when I create this file, of course, that it will automatically to be create the external class. And I can add it to my program.cs file. Let's add it. Now, yes, it is ready with library. Later also, we are going to discuss about using library. It adds to relevant library. And here it is internal class. It can be public also, but it's automatically and by default, it is internal class. And now let's go back to program.cs. And here, I am going to copy just the content of the car class, okay? Because I already has the class name, copy it, and let's paste it inside this file. Now it's ready. It is just the content, the code inside class. I don't need anymore here that this class car, this parentheses also, because it's already created in my new file here. Just the content here. Just this part that I copied and pasted to my new file. And now let's comment it out this part, and then it will not work in this file. And you can see I have an error. It shows squiggly red line because it says now there is no car class. And because of that, I need to combine that the car class file, car files, and then car class file, and then to program.cs file. I need to combine them. That need to be add it. Now, if you go over on the class name, it's anyone that you can go over on it. And here you can see it shows that the show potential fixes. It will help us to solve this problem. And click on it. And now you can see it will add the project name into this file, into program.cs file. This one, the first, yes, it will add it. Now you can see it is here that the added here. And now there is no any error because it used the project name and the all files. If you create another classes, and it will also define and you can use it. It means that. Now, if you run the code, now you can see my car class is here. It's created in the Solution Explorer. Car class is here. It's this one. And my console is here. It is exactly the same. That's how we did it in the same file in the program.cs that we created our class. And also we can create in separate file and then we can combine that.